Hey guys, welcome back, or if it's your first time here, welcome. I really hope you enjoyed today's video as well as my channel. Definitely do not forget to hit that subscribe button down below if you do. So for today's video, we are going to be exploring some really popular makeup products, like those makeup products that you basically cannot get away from on social media. And I'm going to be letting you guys know whether or not I think that they are overhyped or worth the hype. I even made these cute little stickers on Photoshop so that you guys will get a little like stamp of approval or disapproval from me in today's video. And I also want to mention that this video is totally inspired by Samantha Ravndahl. She did the same type of video where she spoke about products that are overhyped, and she said whether or not she thinks they are worth the hype or not. And I will link her video down below if you guys want to check it out, because she did a really great job. And I thought it was super interesting, which is why I want to do my own version for you guys today. So definitely let me know some of your thoughts on the products that I'm going to be talking about today. Do you think some of them are overhyped or worth the hype? Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy these types of videos and if you think I should do more of them. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I actually asked you guys on Instagram and Twitter what are some products and brands that you wanted to see my opinion on, and I got an overwhelming amount of comments to talk about the Morphe palette. They are definitely probably some of the most hyped up products on social media. You cannot scroll through an Instagram feed without seeing somebody either using a Morphe palette or talking about a Morphe palette. Now this one right here is the 35O palette, which I thought was totally appropriate for this video because this was definitely the most hyped up product from Morphe. Everybody was going crazy over this. So Morphe palettes themselves are really inexpensive, and I think that's where a lot of their like hype sort of lies, because they're so inexpensive and you get so many eyeshadows. It's definitely really ideal for somebody who, you know, is just starting out their makeup collection, doesn't really have a lot to spend on their makeup, but wants a palette that really has a lot of options. Then in that case, I do think Morphe is a great option because it is really affordable. They have some palettes that do have some really nice pigmentation, but I do feel like they lack consistency, where some of their other palettes really just don't sort of match up to the other ones that do have nicer pigmentation. I do find that the ingredients in the Morphe eyeshadows do tend to irritate my eyes just a little bit. I don't really feel like I can wear the eyeshadows that often, otherwise my eyes just do get a little bit sensitive, but that is because I do have sensitive skin, because the ingredients in here really are not like fantastic. However, if you don't really experience any sensitivities, then you may be just fine using these. So do I think that Morphe palettes are worth the hype or not? I don't think that they're worth the hype, just because they are so heavily spoken about that it's almost like they are this like angelic palette that has been sent down from the heavens, when in reality, I don't think that's the case. Like I said, I think that they're good palettes. I think that they definitely get the job done. I think that you can get some really beautiful looks out of them, but I don't think that they're the best eyeshadows on planet Earth. So next, I have a concealer that has definitely been spoken about on social media quite a lot, especially within the last few months, and it is the Tarte Shape Tape. So this concealer has been known on social media to be just a really full coverage but lightweight concealer. This is such a full coverage concealer, but it's not super creamy or super heavy that it's gonna look cakey underneath your eyes. I do think, however, that there is definitely a certain way that this product needs to be used. Otherwise, you're probably just not gonna get the effect that you're looking for, and that is to apply a very small amount of this stuff. The key to this product is really not to over apply this, because if you apply a little bit too much of this, then you will look cakey underneath your eyes, because it is definitely a thicker formula, and like I said, it is really full coverage. You don't really need that much product. This is something that I am totally guilty of. I definitely over apply product quite often, especially concealer, and sometimes I need to like reel myself back a little bit and remind myself that I really don't need that much product, especially with a product that is so full coverage like the Tarte Shape Tape. So if you have this product, you're not really sure why it's not working for you, really try using a much smaller amount. Honestly, like one dot underneath the eye is more than enough, and I do find that applying it with a beauty blender is the best way to apply it, because it will soak up any of that excess product. So all in all, I'm sure that you could tell already, I do think that the Tarte Shape Tape is definitely worth the hype. So now moving on to a contour palette. This one's from Kat Von D, and it is the Shade and Light contour palette. Now I do believe this was probably one of the first contour palettes that came to market when contouring really first became a very big thing. A lot of people were either using this one or the Anastasia contour kit. Now I gotta say, Kat Von D has just gotten the formula for her powders just down packed. I think that in her whole entire collection, her powders really are just like exceptionally gorgeous. When you actually touch the powders, they feel so soft and finely milled that they almost feel creamy. And because of that formula, they really just blend on the skin so seamlessly and they never ever look patchy. And it really is because of her amazing powder formula. This little contour kit does contain 3 contour shades. There's a cool toned one, a little bit of a warmer shade, and then a deeper shade, and then 3 like setting slash highlighting powders. So there's more of like a neutral vanilla, a banana, and then a peach shade. This is a really nice and very versatile contour palette, and I do think that a lot of different skin tones can wear it. And just overall, I do think that it's a really high quality product. And if you couldn't tell already, I definitely think that it's worth the hype. And this is probably my favorite contour palette that I have in my collection. I've tried so many different brands, and this is the one that I always go back to. So I definitely gotta say that it is totally worth it. So now moving on to yet another like bronzing and contouring product. This is the Hoola bronzer from Benefit. Now this is definitely an OG like social media YouTube beauty product. I remember hearing about this for like years and years and years ago. Now this is just a really simple bronzing powder. I feel like it is probably one of the perfect shades for those of you who are more on the light to like medium skin tone side. This is probably one of the best bronzers because it's really nice and neutral. It's definitely not too warm, it's not too cool. So I do think it is really nice and versatile because not only are you able to use it to bronze up your face, but because it doesn't have too much of those like warm terracotta or orangey undertones, you are also able to contour with it. Also because it is matte. So I do think that this is a really great product. It's a product that I've had in my collection for years and years and years and years that I constantly rebuy, and I do think that it's definitely worth the hype, especially if you're looking for just a great everyday bronzer that you could use for both bronzing and contouring. This is a really great option if you have a light to medium skin tone. I mean, how could I not talk about a Kylie Cosmetics product? Now this one right over here is the bronze palette. I do have also the burgundy palette. I have the holiday palette. I just wanted to talk about her eyeshadow palettes in general and whether or not I think these are worth the hype. Now these were so hyped up. It was absolutely impossible to get your hands on, especially right at the beginning when she first released these. I believe they sold out within like 10 seconds. I'm just gonna make it really, really nice and simple. These eyeshadows are nice. There's really no denying that. They blend well, they have some nice pigmentation. I like the color combinations for both the bronze palette and the burgundy palette. Didn't really love the holiday palette, but for both the bronze and the burgundy, I do really like them and actually use them quite often. Now, the amount of hype that was surrounding these products was sort of just mind-blowing, but that's obviously because it was Kylie Jenner. Anything that Kylie Jenner puts her name to, it's gonna sell out. It's gonna be like so incredibly overhyped. So do I think that these were worth all of that crazy amount of hype? No, because they're really just average eyeshadows. They're not crazy, crazy good, but I think that's something you guys probably already knew. So if you're wondering if you should get the eyeshadow palettes, I mean, I would probably say go for it if you like the color combinations. And especially since the hype has died down quite a bit since they first released, you could definitely get your hands on them a lot more easily. So those are my thoughts on the Kylie eyeshadow palettes. Do I think that they're overhyped? Definitely. Next, you've got Colorpop eyeshadows. Now, I think something that Colorpop does really well is the uniqueness in their formula. If you are unfamiliar with the formula of the Colorpop shadows, or really the Colorpop products in general, especially like their powder products, they're very unlike other eyeshadows on the market. Instead of them being just like a typical powder eyeshadow or a typical cream eyeshadow, they're almost a hybrid between the two. When you touch the product, it almost has a bit of like a memory foam feeling to it. I feel like that's the best way to describe it. And I really think that's something that makes the formula really unique, and it definitely makes them stand out from the very saturated eyeshadow market. Colorpop is also extremely affordable. They are about $5 US a pop, which is awesome. And I do think that they come out with some really cool and unique shades. They don't just have like your typical neutral browns. They also have some really different shades and shades that you could have some fun with. Now, because of the Super Shock formula, I definitely prefer the more like glittery, metallic, and intense shades. I do think that they really just work really well with the formula and they really pop with it. However, I don't really love the matte shades in this formula. I don't think that they blend as well, especially compared to like just normal powder eyeshadows. So I do think that if you are planning on getting some Colorpop shadows, I would definitely stick more towards like the more metallic shades, the more glittery shades. So I would say that the Colorpop eyeshadows are worth the hype, however, only for the metallic shades. Sort of jumping around categories a little bit, let's jump into some lip products. This is the Jouer liquid lipstick. They call them their lip creams. Now, liquid lipsticks. Liquid lipsticks in general really are not my favorite things in the world. Definitely not my favorite lipstick like formula. I definitely prefer like a typical just bullet creamy lipstick over a liquid lipstick. I just find that liquid lipsticks in general just are way too drying for my personal preferences. I find them really hard to wear. However, saying that, I do feel like the Jouer liquid lipsticks are probably one of the better formulas that I've tried as far as liquid lipsticks go. I'm actually able to wear this formula out of the house, which is very rare when it comes to liquid lipsticks, because a lot of the times they're just so uncomfortable that I want to like rip them off my face. Whereas this one, it is definitely drying because that's just the nature of the formula, but it is one of the more comfortable formulas that I have tried. So I do think that the Jouer liquid lipsticks are worth the hype because I do feel like that they are definitely one of the better liquid lipstick formulas out there. And honestly, you cannot get a better scent when it comes to a lip product. They smell like vanilla cake, and not even like a sickly sweet vanilla cake. It's literally like they took vanilla cake, grinded it up in a blender, put it in the lip product, and you just want to eat it every time you open it up. Like I have to have like a solid 3 minutes of me just smelling the lip product before I even apply it. Staying in the lip product category, next I want to talk about the Marc Jacobs Enamored lip glosses. Now again, if you are familiar with my channel, then you definitely already know my thoughts on these because I do talk about them quite often. I do say that they are probably some of my most favorite lip glosses. So you could probably already tell that I do think these are worth the hype. The reason why I do think these are worth the hype is because of the formula. They're probably one of my favorite lip gloss formulas for a few different reasons. One of the most important reasons is that they are not sticky. I really dislike a very sticky lip gloss. Just like I dislike liquid lipsticks because they're uncomfortable, I also find sticky lip glosses to be pretty uncomfortable. And if there is any type of gust of wind when you're walking outside, your hair just gets all stuck in it. It's gross. They instead have like a really beautiful, very creamy gel-like texture to them that is just really pleasant to wear on the lips. Another reason why I really like these is because of the pigmentation. I think that they just have like the perfect amount of pigmentation when it comes to a gloss. The pigmentation is perfect when there is enough color in the lip gloss that you can wear it by itself and still have a little bit of color to your lips. But it also doesn't have too much pigment so that when you layer it on top of a lipstick, you actually can still see the lipstick through the gloss. And I also really love the reflective quality that these glosses have. So these are definitely worth the hype in my opinion. I mean, obviously I just spent the last like minute raving about them. Sweet Peach palette from Too Faced. I've said this before, I will say it again. I will never understand why there was so much hype around this palette. Now, as far as the quality of the eyeshadows go, they're good. Some may even say that they're great. They're just like the quality of the chocolate bar palettes, which I really, really love. So I mean, there's no denying that the eyeshadows are definitely nice. Now, Sam also mentioned this in her video, and I totally agree with her. I do think that there was so much hype around this product because it was so difficult to actually get your hands on it. You know when you sort of want something a little bit more when you can't have it? And I really, really feel like that was the case with the Too Faced palette because this thing sold out like the Kylie eyeshadow sold out. It sold out so quickly. You had to like wait in like a virtual line to get it. It was ridiculous. To be honest with you, I totally got sucked into the hype. I was one of those people standing in that virtual line to get this palette, and then when I actually got it, like I barely even used it because I wasn't even so drawn towards like the eyeshadow shades in here. This isn't like a typical eyeshadow palette that I would be drawn towards. Normally, I just don't find myself using a ton of the shades in here. I love the scent of all of Too Faced products except for the Sweet Peach products. It's sort of a little bit too much for me. I feel like the scent is really, really sweet, very chemically, just really not my cup of tea. I much prefer like the chocolate bar scent or even like the peanut butter palette scent. Those are delicious and honestly I could eat them. I know some people like it, some people don't. I just feel like for me it just really it just doesn't work. So for me personally, don't think that this palette was worth the hype. However, that's really not to say that the palette isn't good because like I said, the quality of the eyeshadows are actually really nice. So I think that if you do like the combination of shadows in here, you will actually really enjoy the palette. Case closed. That's it. Putting the peach palette away. So we're really jumping around categories right now. This is actually a hair product that has sort of been circling around social media that got me really, really curious. And just like the peach palette, the hype really drew me in. It's definitely a little bit different and I feel like a lot of you may be curious about this. So this is the Way Dry Shampoo Foam. Yes, foam. I could not understand how foam could actually go in your hair and take out oil and not make your hair look greasy, wet, and weird. So this is supposed to act as a dry shampoo. It's supposed to take away oil, it's supposed to make your dirty hair look clean. It's also supposed to give you a lot of volume and texture. So I actually like to use this mostly for volume and texture because it gives me so much of it. So what you do is you squeeze out a little bit. I don't have that much hair, so I like to squeeze out just a very small amount. And you can see it looks like mousse. And it just goes against every ounce of my being to put this in my hair, but you just gotta like push through it because it actually is pretty awesome. So what you do is you sort of rub your hands together. Are you ready? Are you cringing right now? Then you wanna put the product through your hair. When I first applied this to my hair, I was like, okay, I just ruined my hair. Now I have to jump in the shower and wash this off because I really couldn't see how it would dry because it goes in so wet. But then you can see that it completely absorbs into your hair and it almost feels powdery as you start to massage it into your scalp, and then it totally gets absorbed. And even on my hands it feels really like powdery, like the wet sensation is totally gone, and you can see how much volume this gives my hair. Pretty awesome. So even though I thought this product would be super gimmicky, I do think that it is worth the hype because I think it works really, really well in just giving hair volume and also working as a dry shampoo because it does sort of take away any excess oiliness as well. I think it's a really cool and sort of innovative product. So next, moving on to a brow product, this is the Anastasia Brow Wiz. Now, if you're not familiar with the Brow Wiz, it's basically just a really, really tiny mechanical pencil that's slightly waxy, and this type of pencil is really great for creating very small hair-like strokes in your brow to create a very nice natural brow look. I do feel like this is quite a versatile product because you can create something pretty natural. I did wear it in my brows today, or you could definitely go way more intense with this and really draw out your brows and create a very, very like intense brow effect with this pencil as well. And it is honestly a really great product. However, nowadays there are a lot of products out there that are the exact same concept and honestly work in the exact same way, like the NYX Micro Brow or the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. Even though this is an amazing product, I do feel like there are so many other products out there that are way cheaper that give me the exact same effect. Like there really isn't any difference between the products in my opinion and in my experience. So because of that, I wouldn't say that it's worth the hype just because there are so many other cheaper alternatives. So another product that you guys really wanted to see me talk about was the Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel. This is a cream bronzer from Chanel. It's stupidly expensive, and to be honest with you, I do very much regret buying this. Now I do know that there are so many people out there who really enjoy this product, but for me personally, I don't really see why this product is worth its very, very hefty price tag. I do really enjoy cream bronzers, and I actually much prefer them to powder bronzers just because I feel like they give a really nice, just natural look to the skin. So I have been experimenting with a ton of different cream bronzers, especially over the last like 6 months, and this is probably my least favorite of the cream bronzers that I have for a few different reasons. First of all, I do think that this is really only suited for people who have more of like a medium skin tone. This is really, really warm, and especially on my particular skin tone, it looks orange, which is really just not the look that I'm going for. Another problem that I have with this product is I find that it's really difficult to blend and that it always looks patchy no matter what I do. I apply it underneath my foundation, over my foundation. I use a brush, I use a sponge, and no matter what, it never just looks quite right to me. And I do really feel like there are many other cream bronzers that just work and blend a lot nicer than this one, especially just considering the price tag. That's really what kills me. So if you couldn't tell, I don't think that this product is worth the hype. Now let's talk about a setting spray. So this is MAC Fix Plus. Now MAC Fix Plus is definitely a staple in my collection. I couldn't even tell you how many bottles of the stuff that I've gone through. I'm actually almost done this bottle. Now the reason why Fix Plus is my favorite setting spray is because it could be used in so many different ways. Now I do want to say that this is not a setting spray that will extend the wear of your makeup. It is used for different reasons. So you can use this before you apply your makeup to add some hydration to your skin before you go in with your primer and foundation and everything else. And this could also be used at the end of your makeup application when you want to sort of make your makeup look like skin again. So if you feel like you've applied maybe too much powder or too much foundation or things are looking a little bit cakey, a few spritzes of this stuff is like magic. It will just completely almost like calm down and mesh your makeup together to make it look like it's actually a part of the skin and not just sitting on top of it. Another way to use this is to intensify eyeshadow. So if you spray a brush with a little bit of Fix Plus and you go in with a metallic eyeshadow, it will almost just like boost it up a few notches to make it even more intense and to make it really like foiled and stick to your lid. And those are the reasons why I love Fix Plus. I 100% think it's totally worth all of the talk and all of the hype. So guys, I've been talking for 2 hours and my voice is like slowly dying, so I think that's gonna be it for today. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Definitely let me know what other products you'd like to hear my opinion on, because I definitely wanna do like a part 2 of this video. I think that'll be really fun. And also let me know your opinions on the products mentioned in today's video. And of course, give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.